Healthwise, the health food store that's located at 3807 East 8 Mile Road, about 3 blocks west of Ryan. And we're there to service you Monday through Saturday from 10 to 7. And you can give us a call directly at the store at 586-757-DIET. Again, that's 586-757-DIET. Our old number still works, 313-366-DIET. And you can leave me a text or give me a call at 313-600-8532. It's so much stuff going on about COVID this and COVID that. And we presented a lot of information about it. But today I wanted to talk about keeping a clean house with non-toxic chemicals. Okay. As you see here, I got some detergent. My wife can be wondering where her detergent is at. But I just wanted to show you there's natural detergents that doesn't have the chemicals in it. So when you go to wash your clothes, you put them on, you're not absorbing them all day long. Okay. And what I like to do is take a cup or two of the acidic water that we have at Healthwise and put that in each load. Okay. That it just and helps with the cleansing, but it helps to neutralize a lot of the chemicals and poisons because you still got your tap water. So that helps to address that too. But these natural cleansers, most people already have them in your home. Okay. You can clean your home using natural ingredients like baking soda, okay, vinegar, coconut oil, lemon, Castile soap, and as one more that's not on this list is called rubbing alcohol. Okay. And I had ran across an article about rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to see if I can find it while we are on the air. Okay. But the other information that I just thought was like a breath of fresh air. Okay. Commercial cleaners emit toxic chemicals that may cause headaches and respiratory difficulties, organ damage, and cancer. That's how powerful breathing those poisons in. You can clean your home efficiently and safely using natural ingredients like baking soda, vinegar, coconut oil, lemon, Castile soaps. Essential oils can be added to all of your homemade cleansing supplies and laundry detergents for an extra antimicrobial boost. You know, like the peppermint oil, okay, or the lavender oil. Ditch synthetic air fresheners and scented candles for an aromatherapy diffuser, which smells wonderful and has therapeutic benefits. We've had diffusers at Healthwise, and if folks want to get some diffusers, we can get some more. A cleansed, decluttered home provides a much-needed sanctuary from the daily grind. It's hard to fully decompress if your home is dirty and untidy. And the average American worker spends nearly 1 hour on housework daily in an attempt to keep a house clean. But there's a misconception that in order to truly clean your house, you got to don rubber gloves and spray harsh chemicals to do it. In fact, one of the primary reasons for cleaning your home regularly is to clean out the many toxic chemicals that have accumulated in your household dust. Flame retardant chemicals and plastics are among them, along with thousands of species of bacteria and fungi. However, if you clean your home with commercial sprays, wipes, scrubs, and polishes, you are putting toxins into your home environment instead of removing them. The same goes for most laundry detergents, dryer sheets, and air fresheners. Even those strong smelling lemon and pine scents, the ones many people believe are the epitome of a clean house. Good morning, everybody. This is Mikael from Healthwise, Health Foods on 3807 East 8 Mile Road, about 3 blocks west of Ryan, between Ryan and DeQuinta. And we're there to service you Monday through Saturday from 10 to 7. And you can reach us at the store at 586-757-DIET. Again, that's 586-757-DIET. Our old number still works, 313-366-DIET. And if you want to reach me by phone, you can at 313-600-8532. Even though I prefer Texas, because some days I get a lot of calls. The email is healthwise healthfoods at gmail.com. I can't stress enough to spend $5 a month to get good information from Dr. McCullough. That's, of course, www.mercola.com. They give you good information. The powers that be try to say is disinformation, but it's funny because he did an article this week about the vitamin D, and I contribute guide the vitamin D in the civil water as to why so many people that come to Healthwise that didn't get COVID, or if they did get it, it didn't last very long. And if they came to us with COVID, again, they reported to us they got great results. It come to find out, they said that vitamin D3, through the studies that McCullough had run across, does all those things. It helps you, prevent you from getting COVID. If you got it, you recover a lot faster. And we was only told taking 10,000 IUs, which is higher than what the government recommend, unless they changed it. Last time I checked, is 400 for children, 600 for adults, and 800 for seniors, or something like that. Maybe it's got up to 1,000, but that's nowhere near the 10,000 that Dr. Barefoot had told us about 23 years ago, and Dr. McCullough was talking about. And it was interesting because when he first brought that out about fighting COVID with vitamin D back in June of 2020, man, the powers that be that control 96% of the TVs, radios, and your print media, and those medias are controlled by the drug companies, who controlled by the cartel. Okay, it's so interesting. But they jumped on Dr. McCullough talking about that vitamin D don't work, because you can't come out with a new drug, if you already got one out there that's working. And vitamin D is not a drug, but it was working. And now they verifying yet what he said 3 years ago is it worked, and it is working. So that's just one of the aspects of Dr. McCullough is just so far in advance. And I only have an hour a week to share with you out of 168 hours a week. So I really can't cover everything I really want to cover. Like that. That railroad, D railroad, I should say, in the city of in Ohio. It's interesting that golly, Obama had come up with a proposal, a law, or an executive order or something for the railroads to come up with a better braking system. Because the system they got for stopping these railroads came out at 1868 or 69, and all this progression we have made as a people, they never aggressed the improve their stopping of the train system that was developed back in 1868 or something like that. It's over 100 something years. Was 150 something years, and they have not improved it. And I just had this idea. So what about the rest of the world? Well, in Europe, they had over 1,000 derailings. Okay, last year, United States had over 1,000 derailings. Okay, and but I couldn't find out about China, but I did find out about Japan. Do you know for the past 50 years, Japan has had zero derailing? It's like something to look into. If one person could do it, that means we had the ability for others to do it. And so, um, that's just some of the things that you run across when you go to Macola's website. Another one, I'm giving you these things because lately I has used to forward articles that I get from emails and Dr. McCullough to people, but I found out lately they haven't been getting the articles. They get my name, but they don't get the articles. And so I go to further research because I asked God, what's really going on, and He led me to this group, okay, that I get information to, and He told me Brighton. There we go. It's another website you can go to, BRIGHTEON. Okay. That they have a way of blocking me sending emails to people, because if you got an email from Brighton and try to forward to anybody, it's gonna get disrupted. So that explains why a lot of folks is not getting the emails that I used to be able to forward to them. Interesting. So, because when you're in battle, you're in war, one of the main things they cut out is your communications. And if we can't communication with each other, you do realize we're at war. Then that weakens our system. So thank God for WHPR for providing this avenue for us to share. So when I say each one teach one, it's so important that the information you get here that you share with other folks. Now people say, well, people don't want to listen. What you can do is you can draw the people to you that want to listen. See, I learned this technique back in the 70s. I was, going downtown, going to African Festival, trying to find a close parking space. It said if you visualize that space that's going to be 2 blocks away from the festival and free parking, you visualize that space before you leave the house, and you believe it in your heart that it's going to be there, and you just drive down along the street, and then as soon as you get to your parking space, the person is in there, pulls out, you can pull right in. Believe me, that works not only on parking, relationships, business, things that you want in life. We believe, when we see it, we believe it. But the way God's system is set up, you believe it wholeheartedly in your heart, then it manifests. It's this one of the things that we have being God's child. Because he didn't, God made all this stuff, this earth, universe, sun, stars. He get credit for all of this. And I'm not going connect with him on a daily basis. Come on. We're more spiritual than we are physical. You get more of that uh, still small voice that become clear and clearer when you ask for it. Okay. And that's what you go back to. Because, the space say the spirit lives on. You've heard that when people, when their body croaks, okay, or disconnects, shut down, all right, but the spirit lives on, and that's so true. We know that innately. So the thing I like that I see over and over again at Healthwise, most of the time that we share information, it's just to remind you what you already know. And yeah, we God's children, and He didn't give us no junk body. It really didn't. And one of the things that is jacking us up as a species is the lack of friendly bacteria in our guts. Okay, it's so important. And Mona Harrison used to tell us that Dr. Mona Harrison, she got 2 doctor's degrees. She worked in emergency, and she was the first woman on the board of directors with Tisha Noni Juice. We used to go see her in a little bitty room, hold 100 people, be 300 of us in there, because she was so profound. And she gives a lot of good information about the noni. And one of the things you should always drink it with some water. And she used to tell us how the brain and the guts are connected. And they call it the guts like the second brain. You eat your food. Well, how do your body know that you're full? Was this vagus nerve to go from the gut to the brain. Okay. And she's called it the second brain. Well, they say if you control the brain, then you control the body. Well, they're controlling the brain through the eyes, through television, because they put clips in there, have you scared, fearful, not thinking, as my father used to say. Because how else you going to get intelligent people, would come out of high school, come out of college with different degrees, thinking, and always on point. How you going to get those type of folks to take a drug and it doesn't purposely, you open up the information from the drug and it says a sheet that is purposely left blank so you don't know what's in it and you're going to take it anyway. That's called brainwashing. That's an exact example how you can brainwash somebody to go against their own natural instincts. Wait a minute, you gonna give me a drug and just know you ain't got the time to put the ingredients on there, then I don't think I'll take it. And a lot of folks didn't, and I commend them. Okay. Because I found out recently that herd immunity, your own natural abilities to fight off different diseases, they discovered that back in with some other flu. Oh, I had to be about 500 or 600 years ago that we've been knowing that we have natural immunity. Except for 3 years, 2020, 21, now sudden herd immunity, natural immunity, God's given ability to fight off diseases don't work. Oh man, that's prime example of brainwashing. So meditating is a prime example of being connected to your source, which is God. And the more of us are connected to our source, to God, the more powerful we are. And we make changes in our personal life and other people's lives and even the world. It's, if you can think it, then, you can make it happen. This group, this husband and wife team, zero in on that gut, because most Americans' gut is 80% harmful bacteria. Ideally, you want it to be 80% friendly bacteria. What's attacking us, our guts, is these anti. Well, we're gonna get into it. All right, the New England endangered species, I should say, the new endangered species. You, me, human gut microbiome. Okay, that's the friendly bacteria in our gut. They call it that because it's being attacked. This film, this documentary, The Invisible Extinction, shares why modern day life is diminishing the human microbiome, threaten its diversity and human health in the process. The film, The Invisible Extinction, warns all of us that the human microbiome is endangered, putting humans at risk of extinction. This is deep, y'all. It's like some aliens that came down here and now they want the planet, so they're going to wipe out all the humans. It's deep. The film highlights the work of microbiologists Martin Brazo and Gloria de Mingueza Bello, a husband and wife team who are looking into both the problem and potential solution to save microbiome diversity in the gut. The overuse of antibiotics, the overuse of antibiotics. See, this country that he went to, they don't have no antibiotics in South America, this particular country. And we are flooded. You can counteract that by taking you some things that have friendly bacteria in it. We have two at Healthwise. One is Jarrow, which we've had for 30-something years, and white bottle with yellow label. And each pill gives you 3.4 billion sources of friendly bacteria for your gut. From reports I've seen on the internet, we should take in about 12 billion per day. That would be like 4 pills of the Jarrow. Okay, so what's that? 714, something like that. The 14 is okay because we have another one that's they recommend you take 2 pills, and that gives you 100 friendly bacteria for your guts. Okay, they recommend a minimum of 14. Taking 4 of the Jarrow will give you that, but will give you the 14. They recommend 12. The other one, a global, they take 2 pills and it gives you 100. Okay. So the goal is to take that. Most Americans is 80% harmful bacteria. Taking things like friendly bacteria turns the tides back to 80% friendly bacteria. Okay. And that's good for your guts, which means it's going to be good for your brain. So you can see through the okie doke. It's deep. Through the antibiotics, something that we don't see, but has an effect on people's brain and their guts to this point of extinction. This is deep, okay? The overuse of antibiotics, okay, C-sections, and processed foods. See, when you're born, you're coming through your mama's vagina. There's a protecting coating, friendly bacteria that's loaded, okay, through that canal that you're coming through, and your skin is absorbing it. Okay, that's one of your first defenses of coming out of the safety wound of your mama into the world, but going to that passage, the vagina is loaded with nutrients to enhance your immune system that's being absorbed through your skin. And when you have a C-sections, you miss that. And what they have found out, if people have C-sections, is they take that fluid that's around the vagina and then cover the baby up with it after they then came out the C-section, covered up with this solution that's from the mother's vagina. Their immune system is high. Okay, I mean, God, man, these on top of stuff. All right, and they found out how to work with God. That's what we're doing. That's why the products of Healthwise work so good. Is we working with God. We're not needing more drugs. We need more vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, fatty acid, precursors, omegas, hugs, love, okay, laughter. That's what promotes healing. When you laugh, this lady laughed cancer out of her body. When she learned about laugh therapy back in the 80s. She had got breast cancer. She learned about laugh therapy. Her and her husband got all these VCRs because that's what they had at the time. And for 90 days, she didn't listen to CNN, constant negative news, and none of the other stuff, radio, TV, newspapers, nothing. No negative people. For 90 days, they went and got these VCRs and listened to them just crack jokes. Laugh, laugh, laugh. She went back to have her breast examined after 90 days. They couldn't find no trace of cancer. See, that's some of the hidden powers that God has given us that now I'm reminding you that you have. Ooh-wee. Okay, so overuse of antibiotics. Processed foods, that's the other thing. Because it's loaded with nitrates, pesticides, herbicides, and who knows what other kind of drug that they process this food with that's having an effect on your guts. If 80% of Americans' guts is harmful bacteria, processed food got to be 50% of the reason why. I don't know. I was joking about that part. I have no way of knowing. But they listed here as one of the drivings. The processed foods are driving the destruction of our inner ecology, according to the film. The dramatic increase in chronic diseases, including type 1 diabetes, obesity, gastro reflex disease, inflammatory bowel disease, may be linked to the loss of friendly bacteria diversity in our guts. This husband-wife team is president of the Microbiome Vault, a global nonprofit initiative attempting to, quote, conserve long-term health for humanity by storing and preserving microbiome examples and collections. You can see, it's interesting that the folks that can see things on the wall and let us know what's going on, they initially, when they said they considered crazy, and then when it come out to be true, they don't want to give them the credit. I mean, we have a lot of examples like that. One of the most popular ones is the Earth is round, and they back then long time ago they said the Earth was flat, and when the guy found out that is actually round, and that the earth, the sun don't revolve around us, that we evolve around the sun. The people who discovered that was considered crazy. So, um, thinking out the box. The documentary film, quote, The Invisible Extinction, is sounding the alarm that the human microbiome is in danger and putting humans at risk. Quote, bacteria have been the dominant life form on Earth. Everything about human life depends on bacteria. That's what the film begins with. Researchers are only beginning to tap the surface when it comes to unveiling the complex relationship microbiome have with human health and diseases. But it shows, it's known, the microbiome diversity in your gut is a good thing, while the decreased diversity in the gut microbiome has been linked to chronic conditions such as obesity and type 2 diabetes. Mention type 1 and type 1 and 2. In general, the gut microbiome diversity decreases with age. But even young people are being affected. The doctor may home in on 3 likely reasons why. The overuse of antibiotics, okay, C-sections, and processed food, which they say are, quote, driving the destruction of our inner ecology or killing mankind. I mentioned the gyrodophilis and the other one is I had the name of it, but it's from gyro. You come to Healthwise, ask for that 100 billion sources of friendly bacteria we have in the refrigerator. Food sources is sauerkraut, pickles. I remember when I was a kid, 100 years ago, they used to have a pickle jar because they used to send us to the store with a nickel to get them a pickle. It's when their stomach was upset dealing with acid, acid reflux. I never heard of it being called that, but so the upset stomach, eating that fermented food, pickles, calmed them out. Sauerkraut, some nations eat it, a lot. It was cabbage, but it's been fermented, loaded with friendly bacteria. Kabushi mushroom. You can get a mushroom, go to the internet, show you how to harvest it, and it just grows like a weed. Okay, it's good food to have for survival if we get to that point. Because it would continue to grow and multiply like baby kids. Okay, we have a drink that's made with this. Okay, that's loaded with friendly bacteria to help put the friendly bacteria back in your guts, which is so important for humanity. Wow, that's what this article is saying. Okay. Making a mess of microbiome diversity. Okay. Hope we can get into this. The film highlights the work of microbiologists Dr. Marty Basso and Gloria Bello, a husband and wife team, who are looking into both the problem and a potential solution to save microbiome diversity, and explaining why he chose to focus the film on the research of these two doctors after speaking with many microbiologists. Co-director and producer Steve Lawrence explained in Slogan, Science, and Film. Quote, Marty's research, which is quite broad, defines the problems, where Gloria's looks for the solution, whether it's preserving indigenous people microbiome thinking about how we can make a C-section birth less detrimental in the long term, in addition to advocating for fewer elective C-sections. There are people around the world doing important fundamental research which will hopefully filter down into a much more uh, nutrient view of what it means to be healthy. We can all be healthy physically, but have very different microbiomes. There is a protectiveness in the diversity within ourselves as well as within other species. And I think that what Gloria's work on the microbiome vault discussed below is all about. The microbiome refers to all the microbes that live in and on your body. Not only does it play a role in digestion, but it also is foundational to immune system function. In fact, your gut microbiome affects nearly all of your physiological system. In my interview with Rodney Deiser and Professor Emeritus of Immunology at Cornell University, he explains that we are microbiome beings, as, quote, more than 99% of your genes are from microbes, not from your chromosomes. Wow, 99%. You have approximately 3.3 million microbiome genes, mainly bacteria. Across the entire population of humans, there are just under 10 million different microbiome genes. So you won't necessarily have all of them. You also have 22 to 25,000 chromosome genes. These genes are what were analyzed through the Human Genomic Projects, which means you only have about 2,000 more chromosome genes than earthworms. As noted by Diver, since we have about 3.3 million microbiome genes, that means we're more than 99% microbiome genetically. To me, that's just a fancy way with statistics and what you say, physical work, coming up with the percentages. This is 99%. This group of indigenous people in South America, research done by these two doctors involving characterizing the fecal and the oil and skin bacteria, the microbiome of these indigenous people, an isolated group of people who live in the Amazon rainforest, and a study published in the Science Advances in 2015, they wrote, quote, these people harbored a microbiome with the highest intensity of bacteria and genetic foundation ever reported in a human group. To me, that's a hint, clue. Being in the Amazon, being in the rainforest, being with Mother Nature, living with the earth instead of off the earth. And their rewards is such a high level of microbiome in their bodies and on their bodies. Device And despite these isolations, presumably for over 11,000 years since their ancestors arrived in South America, and no known exposure to antibiotics, okay, and I would say also add processed foods, and since they're living so naturally, I doubt they will have C-sections. Wow. So I had none of the three things that he mentions. Um, um, so, despite these isolations, presumably 11,000 years since their ancestors arrived in South America, and no known exposure to antibiotics, they harbor bacteria. They carry functional antibiotic resistance, RA genes, including those that confer a resistance to synthetic antibiotics and and are synthetic with mobilizing lysation elements. These results suggest that westernization significantly affects human microbiome diversity. Okay, to me that was a long way of saying that pesticides and herbicides and nitrates and the nitrites that's in the processed food is so harmful. By studying the microbiome of these indigenous people, these two doctors believe we can gain clues as to what functions are lost in urban areas where modern lifestyles are putting the microbiome at risk. Okay. Again, the two probiotics we have at Healthwise is probiotics, which your body uses to neutralize the harmful bacteria in your body, and it's prebiotics, which gives your body what it needs to make its own probiotics. Okay, two bottles of two different kinds at Healthwise. One Jaro, 3.4 billion. You need about 4 of those a day is suggested. And the other one is from Global, which is 2 pills is a million. Yo, kombucha drinks we have at Healthwise. Or getting you a kombucha mushroom and grow it yourself. It's a source of friendly bacteria. Your sauerkraut, okay, which is something that you can learn how to make, which this is with cabbage and you ferment the food. Okay. So, and your pickles. By studying the microbiome, these indigenous people, these two doctors, we gain clues as to what functions are lost in urban areas where modern lifestyles are putting the microbiome at risk. In an interview with the people, she explained, one, these are people that are only now starting to be exposed to urban practices and medicine. So they are survivors because you can imagine the mortality in places where there's no medicine. You fall from a tree, you dead. You break a leg, you dead. One of every 10 mothers that are in labor, one mother or baby dies. So if you survive, you are really a survivor, and these are healthy people because the unhealthy ones have died. So we are very interested in understanding their microbiome, and what we find is that they have much higher diversity. In general, diversity is a mark for health. The more diversity the microbiome, the healthier the ecosystem. 80% of Americans is harmful bacteria, and ideally you want it to be 80% friendly bacteria. So you can go from 20% friendly bacteria to 80 is my goal, and then God will lead you how to get there. Believe me. Please believe me. Why C-sections can be robbing babies of microbiome, we kind of went over that. Um, Early life exposures may be linked to disease prevention. Okay. Um, Regarding early life exposure, it has been suggested that abnormalities with the gut microbiome early in life could play a role in autism. Hmm. One of the doctor told people, quote, "We know that the rate of autism has grown up dramatically over the past 80 years, and it's a disease of early life. It manifests within the first couple of years. And so we are interested in the ideal that the early life microbiome, as is it formed, has a connection with the brain. We know that the microbiome is talking to the brain, and so a number of investigators have been interested in the idea that maybe abnormal early life gut microbiome is having an altered conversation with the brain and is changing brain development. Interesting. Um, Interesting. I look at that as there's something deep, but is what they have found scientifically, some good science, that just verifying the powers of connection and how God made the body to look out for itself. That's what I see here. Um, this acute lymphoblast leukemia, they call it ALL, the most common type of childhood cancers. Wow. Leukemia, I hear that a lot. May also have a microbiome link. According to Marvin Gaze of the Institution of Cancer Research in London, Graves studies suggest exposure to microbiome in early life may be the ticket to preventing leukemia, which can be done through 1. Vaginal delivery versus C-sections, or like the folks did, the folks who had C-sections took that fluid that was in the vagina and applied it to the baby's skin. Second thing is breastfeeding. Third thing is going to daycare center as babies and exposure to older siblings. I can't help but think about the job of all humans need minerals. Dr. Linus Pauling said all diseases are caused by lack of minerals. You get those from the earth or the sea. And we got over 30-something women that took that while they were pregnant and while they were breastfeeding. And it enhances that child's, they just seem like they've been here before, those children. Kind of Healthwise children. It's quite amazing. So breastfeeding made me think about it's important to get those high level of minerals into the woman. It has something to do with the microbiome, but the earlier she started taking them, I was just seeing tremendous results. It's the only time we ever forced anybody to take anything is a pregnant woman to take the Ultimate Classic. Antibacteria, antibiotics are diminishing the microbiome. Antibiotics are diminishing the microbiome. Every year, about 10 dozens of antibiotics are prescribed for every person on Earth. Even children takes a mean of 2.6 courses of antibiotics by age 2 and 10.9 by age 10. Exposure often begins even earlier, however, as more than half of women receive antibiotics during pregnancy or shortly after birth. This is in addition to an unknown level of exposure from agriculture use of antibiotics, the way that grow our food. The doctor explained in the Cleveland Clinic Journal of Medicine in 2018, he believes that the dramatic increase in chronic diseases, including type 1 diabetes, and earlier we mentioned type 2, asthma, obesity, gastro reflex, and inflammatory bowel disease are linked to losses of bacteria diversity in our gut caused by the overuse of antibiotics. To counter antibiotics, friendly bacteria, probiotics, okay, minerals. See, we can't stop them from poisoning our food, but we can get the nourishment that God designed our body to operate on to fight the onslaught. Okay? I mean, we God's children, folks. And we zero in with God, we come up with a solution to fight off this onslaught of poisons. Okay? You know, they took the blood of Jesus and put it over the door to protect folks against evil forces. Okay? It was the people inside that house that had that belief that they were protected. That's what kept that negative energy off. It's their belief. Before modern times, okay, you had to go check out. Processed food destroys your microbiome. Okay. Oh, wow. Now, the last couple of minutes, the vault. Okay. These doctors, president of the Microbiome Vault, a global nonprofit initiative attempting to conserve long-term health for humanity by storing and preserving microbiome samples and collection. The idea is to maintain a bank of microbiome that could be used to restore humans' microbiome as in it gradually becomes less and less diverse, or in the event it necessarily goes extinct. Quote, the doctor said we need to preserve the current biodiversity of the microbiomes in humans of everywhere. This is something that brings us all together, okay? And this is true also for the environment. We are making a complete mess of biodiversity, including microbiome that are essential in every ecosystem, not only in humans or animals or plants, but also in the ocean. The whole thing is linked together by impact of human activity. We need to preserve this micro-friendly bacteria because they really moderate the functions of Earth. They moderate everything. They moderate our own genes expression. So there has to be more of this effort to preserve the microbiome biodiversity, to restore, because we need to be restored. In the immediate addition to avoiding C-sections, eat plenty of fermented foods. Take probiotics. Boost your soluble and insoluble fiber intakes, like vegetables and seeds, sprouted seeds, especially broccoli sprouted seeds. Get your hands dirty in the garden. There's an energy from the earth that promote healing in the body. It's called a B-flat frequency. Okay, open your windows. Okay, I would say add some plants to your house. Wash your hands by washing your dishes by hand instead in the dishwasher. Researchers have shown washing your dishes by hand leaves more bacteria on the dishes than the dishwater. So eating off these less than stirring dishes may decrease your risk of allergies by stimulating your immune system. Oh boy. Okay. Avoid antibiotics. Avoid conventional raised meats, chlorinated or fluorinated waters. Avoid processed food. Avoid these chemicals, glyphosate. Avoid these soaps, as it kills off both good and bad bacteria, contributing to development of antibiotic resistance. So sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. But we exposed them, and so we can do some things. Come visit us at 3807 East 8 Mile Road, about 3 blocks west of Ryan, between Ryan and DeQuinta. And our phone number over there is 586-757-DIET. Again, that's 586-757-DIET. Our old number still works, 313-366-DIET. Okay, 313-366-DIET. And you can reach me by phone, 313-600-8532. I prefer text. I don't care what they say, hugs are healing. And breathing civil water in is we've gotten great results with it. It kills that germs, fungus, and bacteria that gets into the nose and lungs and things like that. People, you've been using that because they found out that those masks, no matter what you wear, cotton, synthetic, those fibers get into the lungs, again, weakening your immune system. So, peace and love, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. But more than anything, thanks for sharing. Each one teach one.